Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Final Tackle podcast, and we're joined by 2003 Penrith Panthers Grand Final winner, Joel Clinton. Thanks very much for joining us, and how's your day going? This episode is brought to you by our proud sponsor, Gold Coast Trading Cards. They are an authorized TLA trading card dealer, and they are the NRL collector's choice. From box breaks to individual cards, they sell thousands of them from the 1960s up until recent 2020s and into the future 2021s coming out next year. Be sure to get all of your NRL trading card needs at Gold Coast Trading Card.
Yeah, good, CJ. Yourself?
Yeah, no, that's good. And yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Just woke up about half an hour ago. I was like, right, should probably get into the studio and get started.
You've had a sleep in, have you, mate? Well, I've got three young girls who get up at basically 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm always awake early.
There's always on dad duty.
Yes, correct, yeah.
No, that's fair. Panthers, obviously elephant in the room. You got your debut with the Penrith Panthers. You went through their junior systems. Yep. What was it like, playing for such a prolific club and, getting your first grade debut?
Oh, I think it was more the fact that we had quite a few juniors that I'd played with throughout those junior clubs like you were talking about, as well as your local clubs, but also your reserve grade, your Jersey Flag, Harold Matts, all that sort of stuff as well. So I had a good time there. I grew up there. I'm from a little town just outside of Penrith called Riverstone.
Yep.
Another fella called Shane Rodney that played in the grand final. He played.
I've interviewed Shane. Yep.
Yeah, you've done Shane. Yeah, well, he's another fellow who grew up in Riverstone as well. So it's quite close to my heart, Penrith. And even though I'm living all the way up here, I still support it. 100%.
Yeah, so what was the decision, post career to move up to Queensland?
Oh, my wife's born and bred in Mackay, and when we moved back from the UK, I basically, to put it bluntly, really enjoy my outdoors fishing, camping, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's unreal. And I thought, what better place to move back to Mackay and have and I came back and played with the Mackay Cutters when we won the comp that was Queensland Cup. We won the comp in 2013. When I came back and retired, so semi-retired, and then and I've been here for 8 years now, so time goes too quick, unfortunately. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, and obviously the first year, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't debut in 03. Was it 02 or 01 that you debuted?
It was 02, yeah.
Yeah,
I debuted in 02, yeah.
Yeah, so with the 02 year, that was coming off a woeful Panthers 01 unfortunate spoon season, and didn't go too hot that season either. But, what was the change in mentality and vibe around Penrith between 02 and the illustrious 2003 grand final year?
Oh, I think in 02, excuse me, there was 3 or 4 of us juniors that came into production. I basically played first grade. So there was, myself, Trent, Luke Lewis had already debuted earlier before us, and so had Luke Rooney. So that, like I said, there's 3 or 4 of us that came in, and we'd come through in that juniors sort of thing with just not admitting defeat, I guess. And then I think it all started catching on a bit, but we also had some Scotty Sattler and Ryan Girdler and things like that.
Just like old those guys that would keep you guys level.
Oh, just leaders, just leaders. I mean, you're young. I think I made my debut at 19 or 20 or something like that, and all you want to do is go and have beer and chase women, and
play
have
footy
a good
and get
time.
Paid for it.
And play footy and get paid for it. Yeah, it's what a life to live, and I'm very privileged to have done that. But it was really enjoyable. I come in and just opened my eyes up to how, special it is to be involved in something like that, mate.
Yeah, wow. And then obviously as we just mentioned, the 03 grand final. First of all, what was like, grand final week? I've heard all the stories about John Lang being like, look, just enjoy the week and all that. But what was game day like, and obviously I just recently actually rewatched the 03 grand final, and there was talk from the commentators just after halftime that you gave the team a spray, but not in a bad way. You gave them a bit of an uplifting. Can you remember what you said?
Oh, I just think I don't know why that stuff. I guess some people wear their hearts on their sleeves, and that was me. I always showed my passion and anger and worriness and all that
good or bad
thing.
Times.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it wasn't anything bad. Like I said, it was just come on, boys. We're in this game. Just simple rugby league talk that every man can say, but some people just choose to sit there and listen, and some people choose to get up and talk. And like I said, I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I gave the boys a bit of a pump up, but it was nothing major, not like something like Johnny Lang was spitting all over us when he was talking and drooling, and yeah, so he's quite a man to listen to when he gets fired up.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously we now know obviously the outcome of the 03 grand final. But during that game, obviously some people say it was the Sattler tackle that really put you guys realizing we've got this made. Some say it was Luke Rooney's second try. For you personally, what do you remember personally being your like, right, we've got this?
I mean, if you watch that game in the first 10, 15 minutes, the Roosters set the benchmark the last 2 years. Oh, it was unreal. Like they were off their line quicker than I've ever played against. And it was just, and Ricky Stewart told them to do that, and they did it quite well. But I just think after we just kept being, myself, Johnny, Martin Lang, Tony Pulatua and Joe Nalavar, we just kept coming and coming and coming. It doesn't matter how hard they whacked us, and you watch, they did whack us quite a few times.
Mate, the first 10 minutes was, I'm surprised no one got stretched off.
It was unreal, wasn't it? And anyway, and then we just kept coming at them, and I think we got a couple of really good offloads away in the middle, and Preston Campbell and Reece West are always sniffing around those areas, and you watch that 15-minute mark or something, we get some nice offloads, and it starts breaking up because their line speed, they can only do it so much, and we weathered that storm in that first 15, and then for me personally, I just loved seeing those gates open up a bit, and then you saw the likes of those little fellas running around, zipping around, and Luke Predis doing his thing was just, he speaks for himself, mate. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he didn't get Clive for no reason, so.
No, you don't get that medal for doing nothing, mate. Yeah.
Exactly. And obviously you had spent a few more years at Penrith after the grand final. Then you jetted off up to Brisbane, which is, you now live in Queensland, but you jetted off and played for the Broncos. What was the switch like, in, vibe, atmosphere, and just in general, going from an illustrious, successful club as the Panthers to another just as successful club as the Broncos?
Yeah, well, I think the carrot for me to go up there was obviously Wayne Bennett, who was coaching there, and unfortunately for him, for me personally, one of the questions I asked him before I signed up there was, "How long are you going to hang around for?" And he said, if I can get likes of you and Pete up here, and Pete Wallace, I'm talking about, I'll hang around for quite some time. Within the first year I signed, he left. So that's just football, mate. I can't, you don't take it personal. There's bigger things.
You still had at least a year under Wayne Bennett.
I did, which was great. He taught me a lot. And unfortunately, it was probably the worst year of my career, to be honest with you, because I blew my knee out before I went there, had major surgery on it. And then for me to counteract my knee, I lost anywhere from in excess to 12 kilos and actually got down to, I remember being on the scales one morning and I got down to 99 kilos. And the way I played was did not suit my style of football. You needed
about 105, 110.
Oh, yeah. And then all the mental demons start playing in your head because you don't have the impact you do, and you're fighting your own head, you're fighting the media and all that sort of stuff. But I learned a lot from that. You can only dwell on your last 5 minutes. Don't dwell on your last life you've just lived in terms of your games and whatnot. So, but it was good. The experience there was great because they were really, really professional. They started having lunches and things like that all spread out for you. Everything, your shakes as soon as you came off the field were there. Little things like that I know Penrith do now, but back then,
it was unheard of at many clubs. Yeah,
it was. And I went to Brisbane and just ththings like that, straight into your ice bars. People
you wouldn't think would make a difference, but thinking back on it, like at other clubs, you're like, oh wow, that was, it was really good sort of thing.
Oh, 100%, and me being a Penrith junior, that's all I knew was what Penrith's system was. And then I went up there to that, and they'd been so successful for so many years, the Broncos. They set the benchmark, and it was great to go there and experience that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier, you also spent some time over in the UK. You jetted off again from the Broncos over to Hull KR. What was it like, first of all, going to a whole nother country to play footy, and what was that rivalry match like against Hull FC?
Oh, well, first of all, the experience for me was just breathtaking. I mean, I'd been over to the UK prior before going over there and playing, but just the experience in terms of doing your preseason in the snow, in hard ice and sleet. Oh, it's because over here, obviously, you do your preseason in 40 degrees heat, so it's completely different. Yeah, you do. And you're running up monstrous sand hills and whatnot, but over there, you're running up snow hills and things like that. So it's different. But I enjoyed my time over there, and also I had a great 3 years over there. We travelled a lot. The football was very different in terms of it was very, very attack orientated, and the defence was sort of a bit. I mean, it was for the club I was at anyway at the time, and
But it could have been better. There was definite room
Oh
improvement.
yeah, I mean, well, whole KR was never a glamour club over there. You got Warrington and
St. Helens,
Leeds and St. Helens and all them that we charred. But we did our best. Me and some of the Aussies over there. I went over there and played. I made the dream team a couple of times during the they picked the weekly dream team and everything. So I had a really good time from going from Brisbane to over there. And yeah, the games were the best ones. I remember playing against Hull FC at Craven Park, and it's pretty much a sellout, and which is. I'd say 15,000, 16,000. But anyway,
from what I've been told, they'll sound like a crowd of a grand final.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You can hardly hear yourself talk. And, I remember they had the likes of Mark O'Mealy and a couple of others, a couple other players that were there as well. And, yeah, we were just going head and toes at each other, you know what I mean? So it was unreal. And then after the game, if you run into some FC fans at the pub, they give you a good spray at the pub.
Especially if you won against FC.
Yeah. It's old school. Hey, it's like they'll yell at you out the car window and call you all sorts of names and stuff like that. But you just give them a thumbs up and laugh.
Exactly,
about it.
It's the passion of the fans. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, there's no point trying to fight everyone, mate. Yeah, because you'll never win everyone.
Exactly. And as you said, some things are said on the field. And speaking of that, what are some of the funniest and or best sledges either you've received or you've heard in passing while on the field?
Oh, I think, I obviously used to have long hair when I played a bit. So I copped quite a bit of flack about that because that was something, I guess, that not every rugby league player had. Cut your hair, your girl, where's your bra, have you got your G-string on, things like that. Show us your boobs, all sorts of stuff, mate. Yeah, so it was, unfortunately that was the side
you had
of
the long hair in the
league
NRL a few years before it became a thing, because now you've either got really short hair or really long hair in the NRL.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's everything's normal these days, mate. There's nothing that surprises me to see what people do and all sorts of stuff. So yeah,
you're a trendsetter, then you could say.
Mate. Yeah. Oh, I don't think I was a trendsetter. No, not a little Riverston rat, mate. No.
That's fair. And what's your current, beer of choice, and how do you like your steak?
Oh well, steak medium rare. Obviously, it's I can't have it too overcooked. Whereas my wife likes it medium well. So I think she wastes her time eating steak. But yeah, and my beer is it's got to be cold. Tui's extra dry. I enjoy that for a beer. And if I need to have a drink of scotch or something, it's usually Johnny Walker or something like that, mate.
Yeah, nice. Now, obviously, Panthers 2020, mate. What a season for the Panthers. Obviously, unfortunately, couldn't clinch the trophy, but I think it was 17 or 16 in a row. They broke the record that your 2003 Panthers did the team's record. I think it was like 9 in a row. What was it like, seeing the 2020 Panthers team? Did it reminisce and give you memories of the old days? And, what are your thoughts and what do you have to say to the 2020 club?
Oh, I just think what reminded me about us, and I know that you did, or a few people did quite a few interviews with Craig and the guys that were in Sydney, was the amount of juniors that they had in the team as well. Excuse me, because I remember there was at least, when we won it, there was at least 7 or 8 juniors that I'd played with prior to playing NRL. And I know they had about the same amount in that squad last year. So it was just great to see that system coming through and actually working, and the club actually sticking with their juniors as well, because there's nothing more passionate for a fan when they know someone is homegrown and they can play NRL there and they love watching it. But it was
the thing I really like about the Panthers is like them and Manly are one of the two, like they're the top 2 teams that really nurse their nursery sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, they do. I mean, Penrith have always had league clubs all over everywhere, Australia. Like, I mean, you go to in the middle of, there's one in Port Macquarie, I think, something like that, or wherever it was. And they've got feeder clubs everywhere. And so do the Broncos as well. They're quite, they're quite huge in terms of the
But when
junior
it's
recruitment and stuff
homegrown,
like that.
like from like the base of the mountain or within the immediate areas, it's really a lot more special sort of thing.
Yeah, because I think it attracts a lot more local fans as well, because obviously that junior that's making his debut has friends he's gone to school with, and he's got his friends' parents that, and it, all of a sudden one player makes his debut, there's an extra 30, 40 people there watching him. So it creates a bigger fan base. It's good for the game. Obviously good for revenue for the club as well. But also, it's great I enjoy watching local Penrith juniors make their debut, mate. It sort of hits a chime in my heart, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously 2021 season is about to kick off in about a week and a bit. What are your thoughts on how you think the Panthers will go, and and what are your hopes? As in, realistically, how do you think they'll go, and optimistically, how do you think they'll go?
Oh, well, I mean, realistically, I believe they won't get away with sneaking up on a lot of teams this year. I think everyone's going to bring their A game. They know Penrith are a team that play fast. So Melbourne Storm came up with a perfect game plan last year, where if you have a look at their ruck speed, how much they slowed that play the ball down compared to how quick Penrith were playing in the prior games leading up to that grand final, was well coached.
Yeah.
And I think this year, so they're going to have to change it up a bit, because their tactic of flat and fast a lot of teams will try and slow that down on them this year.
Yeah, and a lot of teams will realise, they'll literally see the Storm as the example of how to beat Penrith. Yeah,
definitely. And I believe they will go really well this year. I mean, optimistically, I hope they make the grand final again. I really do. It'd be great to see it 2 years in a row. Haven't done that since early 90s. So, which is a long, long time ago now. And, I've got a good friend, one of my great friends down there, Peter Wallace. He's coaching, what is it, New South Wales Cup down there? Is that what it's called now? Yeah. So he's coaching that. He's really, really pumped for the season. Had a good win on the weekend, and it'd be good for him as well as me watching him personally get out there and coach, because he's a fiery redhead like all redheads are, and and he wears his heart on his sleeve like me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching these guys play this year. I think it'll be good to get down there for a couple of games, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, speaking of your time playing with Peter Wallace, you guys played at the Panthers, and then you linked back up with him at the Broncos. What was that like? Was that part of obviously there was Wayne Bennett, but was he part of the reason you signed with the Broncos as well?
Oh, it helped a bit, like it's always daunting going. It's like a new job for people that just work in general. You go somewhere new, you get a bit uneasy, but that makes you feel alive, And me and Pete both signed there, so we lived together while we were there, and eased ourselves into it, I guess.
Yeah.
And we both went up there single lads, so we had a good time while we were up there for a bit, and enjoyed it. He was good. He had a really good career at the Broncos. He
did. He actually played more games at the Broncos than he did at Penrith.
Oh, yeah.
Only 10 more,
he was there
still.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he had such a good career at both clubs, and that's a testament to him as a person as well.
Definitely.
The tattoo, obviously, you got to address it. The Panthers tattoo.
Oh,
shit! Did you get that the day after or what?
No. We had we had about a week long. I wouldn't say party, a bit of a drink after that grand final win, because there was quite a few of us, like I said, that knew each other for years and years and years, and we enjoyed ourselves. And then we all decided to go and get one. Everyone got one on different parts, and Luke Rooney actually is a funny story. Luke Rooney was quite drunk when he got his, and instead of getting the actual emblem of the Panther logo, that was that one at the time, he actually got one that looked like a North Sydney bear, and it had missing claws and everything. Oh yeah, 100%. So he woke up. I'll
try and get him to send us photo of it.
Oh, good luck with that. That's quite funny. Yeah, there's a story for you, mate. Yeah, Luke Rooney. He's tattooed. I don't know, he's probably had a
bear jersey logo thing.
Yeah, I haven't spoke to him for a few years now. He might have had it removed or lazed it off or something like that. God love him, but yeah, have a laugh at that one day.
Yeah. That's so interesting. And obviously there was an incident when I think it was either riding to training, because you used to race Ben Ross on BMXs to work, to training, and you went down a flight of stairs into a shop front type thing. What happened there?
Yes,
like obviously I just basically explained it, but did you come off with any injuries from it?
No. Oh no, I was a big lump of a lad back then, so it took a bit to bruise me up. But Yeah, we were racing. I think we're going. It was like a Video Easy or something, and we were going to go hire a DVD or whatever it might have been, a
Geez,
VHS
that
tape back then,
competitiveness,
mate.
even just to race each other to the video shop.
Yeah, and I was going down the stairs, and all of a sudden the shop window was in front of me, and I hit the wrong brakes. I hit the front brakes because they were both handlebar brakes.
Yep.
Hit the wrong side, straight through a shop window. Yeah, so
Yeah. Damn, it's like
quite
something
interesting.
straight out of a movie sort of thing.
Yeah, it was. I turned up, saw Ben laying on the ground crying and laughter. So yeah, it was a fun day. Anyway, we had a good laugh for the next couple of weeks at training, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. What would be, if you could give advice, like what you know now, to 18-year-old you? What advice would you give?
Oh, I just think probably the younger me, I wasn't as dedicated as what I should have been, I believe. The passion and pride was there. And
for sure.
See, I only had, I played, like I said, with my heart on my sleeve, and I also spoke like that. But I just think I wasn't dedicated enough in the gym and to do some extra fitness. That only came on, when did I make my debut? In 2002. I reckon I got that probably pride and passion and grit to do that sort of stuff. Like after I went on tour and stayed with Shane Webke, so it would have been 03, 04.
That would have been amazing, going on that Australia tour and
with
a freaking legend like Webke. What was that like?
Oh, it was. Well, it was great. I mean, that's where I got that. Okay, you've got to do this to be this. He used to get up and we were rooming together, and he'd get up in the morning and he'd go down to the gym, and I'd go down with him, and he'd go, "Come on, we're going down," and he'd jump on the treadmill and run 5Ks, or he'd get in there and do some weights. And that was on top of the fitness that we had that day, the training that we had that day, stretching, whatever we had. He was going to go do that stuff, and another fella was the same, Craig Gower.
Yeah, Gower. Yep.
They're both their careers resemble how they trained and how that is off the field. So, like I said, it took me probably 2 years to finally, I played 2000 and lucky enough to be in the 2003 team, but only started realising I had to do those extras to stay where I was at and get where I wanted to be. And that's when I started doing all that stuff, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. That's really interesting to hear. Which individual player, because there was many that you come up against with hit-ups and tackles, obviously Sonny Bill, etc. Who, for you personally, was the toughest opponent to go up against mentally for yourself?
Oh, Marty Lang can probably speak about this fella a bit more than me because he's had quite a few more run-ins than me. But one of the tough ones we always used to come up against, obviously, was the Roosters, was Adrian Morley.
Oh, I've interviewed him. Yeah, what an absolute weapon.
Yeah. Oh, he was the epitome of toughness. He was a tough pom, and if there was a fight on the field, he'd be the first bloke in there
and last one out of it.
The last one out. He'd shoot out of the line like at C or D defender at you and cut off 3 or 4 of his men at A, B, and C.
Just to get you, yeah.
Just to get you, yeah. He'd personally be out there, and that was great, because I love challenges like that. And unfortunately, Marty Lang, he obviously didn't have a step in his game, and he used to take that as a challenge as well, and he would run straight at him. And obviously,
the 03 grand final is just them going at it.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Like Marty used to get up shaking his head with his eyes rolling around, and he'd look at me and go, "How was that? How was that?" And I go, "You going well, mate? Keep going." And but he wouldn't stop, like I said, Adrian Morley would have been a very, very tough opponent for me every time we played him. I loved it.
Yeah, and obviously you teed up with him again over in the UK because he was playing over in the UK when you were playing for Hull. Was there that same sort of vibe when you went up against him over there?
Oh, there was, but I think he was a bit later in his career when he went back over there, you know. So, and that aggression had sort of tapered down a bit like it does with all of us, mate. Age plays its toll. And, but he was still good, don't get me wrong. And, he was great, but he had a good team. He was playing, with Warrington over there, and he had a good team around him. So, it was great to play over there as well against him. I mean, he's a legend of the game over there and here.
He is.
So, much respects to him,
Oh, for sure. Just looking through my list. Sledge. So what are you doing with yourself these days?
When I moved back from the UK, I also opened up a couple of car washes at the shopping centres here. So I built 2 big car washes, and I've had them for the last 6 or 7 years. I only just sold them last year now, so I got rid of them. because I found that up here you have wet seasons that go for 3 months, and it rains and rains and rains and rains, and it was just too stressful for me. So I ended up selling them, moving them on, and I'm actually starting. It's quite funny you ask. I'm actually starting an adult fitting apprenticeship, a fitter machinist out of the mines. So
sweet.
It's a bit, it's a bit tough.
Mines or?
Nah, not Mount Isa. It's called Moorumba out that way.
Okay.
I'm working out sort of out west of Mackay at the moment. It's about a 3-4 hour drive from here.
So you'll be a fitter internal when you're finished?
Yeah, basically, mate. Yeah. And
are you
to
enjoying
an aspect, I am, yes. I've started that now. So that's, you can do prior learning and things like that, which I've done. So I can fast track this apprenticeship.
Cut a bit of time out of it, yeah.
Yes, correct. So it'll only be, touch wood, it should only be 2 years. For the next 2 years, I'll dedicate myself to that. And then who knows, I might go back into business after that in that aspect in mining, or might just work for someone. I don't know. I'm enjoying not working for myself at the moment. It's half the stress. So But but that's what I'm up to.
Yeah, that's wicked. And obviously, as you said, you enjoy fishing. What's your favorite technique of fishing? Is it fly fishing, lure fishing, bait fishing? How do you like your fishing?
Oh, I prefer bait fishing. I've got some. We head out here out of Mackay, out to the big shipping channels where all the coal ships run through and get loaded up and everything up here. There's some really good marks I've got out there, and we catch quite some substantial. We get largemouth guys, which is the big redfish. You get finger marked. We get big coral trout out there. A couple of sailfish and marlin out there as well, which is good. So there's quite some table fish I can catch on bottom bashing, which is with bait. But I do lure fish as well, mate. You just don't catch as many,
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just checking. We've spoken about tattoo. I've done the advice to younger self. So let's do, what advice would you give to any youngsters that, wanting to make it in the, big leagues one day?
I just think, if you're a guy who doesn't have much hype about you when you're playing junior football, and there's all these other guys around you that at school, they're saying, they're going to be this, they're going to be that.
Like the Sawali at the moment that's getting that.
Yeah. But just don't, if you're the guy, I'm speaking to the guys that aren't like that, like myself personally, I was not one of those people that were just get in there and dedicate yourself. Remember, everyone's human, and they've all got hearts, and you can easily, get over the top of that person. They're not something that's indestructible. So, get out there, commit yourself, compete and play tough. And, rugby league's a tough game, and it still will be in another 100 years. So if you get out there and play with your heart and play with your passion and anger, I'm a big believer in playing angry as well. It'll help,
It helps get your anger out.
And depends what position you play, though,
True.
Front rowers probably need to be angry, but, maybe a halfback or a winger, they can wear G-strings and skirts, and, we'll worry about the props.